Work sucks. Same people, same dumb emails, same freaking coffee machine. At least Karen keeps it halfway fun, complaining about our boss. But even her jokes are getting old. Maybe that happy hour invite is a good idea after all. Hey, so there's drinks later. I tell Karen, trying to sound casual. You in? She raises an eyebrow. On a Tuesday, someone's feeling adventurous. Count me in. The bar's actually pretty nice, way better than our usual places. People are dressed up, drinks look fancy, and the noise level is pleasant. Not blaring, just a hum of conversation. A few guys at the bar glance my way. I pretend not to notice, but damn, it's been forever since I felt seen. Not like that, just like a person, not just someone's wife. What can I get for you? The bartender is kinda cute. Definitely younger than my husband, and he's paying way more attention than I get at home. Should I play it safe or be bold? Ugh, why does this feel so complicated? Gin and tonic, please, I tell him. Lame choice, but it's all I can think of. The drink comes, the sharp taste a welcome change from my usual wine at home. Karen arrives, and the conversation flows a bit easier now. Work stories, a bit of gossip, normal stuff, but it feels fresh tonight. A group of guys walk in, all suits and sleek haircuts. One of them catches my eye, not because he's super handsome, but there's something in his smile. A spark that throws me off balance. Karen nudges me, whispering, "Not bad, huh?" I blush, feeling ridiculous and a little bit excited. It's stupid. I'm married, content enough, right? Then why does looking at this stranger make my heart beat a little faster? And why do I desperately wish mine looked half as good as his? We keep chatting, me sneaking glances at Mr. Sparkly Smile across the bar. Part of me knows this a recipe for trouble, like a moth drawn to a flame. Yet the other part, that tiny part that's been bored, ignored, and aching for something, that part is just curious. Is it so wrong to just feel a little alive? The night stretches on, drinks flow, laughter too. It's not even a wild night, just different. And for the first time in ages, that difference feels intoxicating. He walks me to my car, should have said no, but there's this weird energy between us, like it wouldn't be totally crazy if he, well, you know, he doesn't try anything, which is good, but also disappointing. I don't get why I feel that way. So, see you tomorrow? He asks, his voice a bit too casual. Yeah, bright and early. I force a smile. My voice sounds weird, even to me. The drive home is on autopilot. My head's spinning. What the hell was that? He's just a coworker, right? But those looks, I haven't felt like that in forever. God, I feel like a teenager, giddy and nervous at the same time. Walking in the door feels surreal. The house is quiet, same old furniture, same picture hanging by the stairs. My husband's on the couch, half watching some dumb show. I try to strike up a conversation, but my words come out flat. It suddenly feels like we're speaking different languages. He doesn't notice. Why would he? He just grunts, eyes glued to the TV. And right there, a wave of something crashes over me. Not anger, not exactly. It's more like a cold realization. Is this it? Is this what the rest of my life looks like? It shouldn't feel this empty. The next morning, I put a little more effort into my look. Stupid, I know, but those tiny sparks of excitement from last night, I need more of that. Just a little boost, a reminder that I'm not invisible. At work, my colleague, what's his name? Mark, I think, pauses by my desk more. At first it's just work stuff, but his eyes keep drifting to mine, and there's a smile on his lips that never quite reaches his eyes. Lunch? He asks, and his voice sounds slightly different than usual. My heart does a stupid little leap. I actually brought something today. It's a half-hearted excuse, but something in me hesitates. Maybe another time then, he says. There's a flash of something in his eyes. Disappointment, a challenge, and right then a tiny, reckless part of me decides, why the hell not? Actually, you know what? Lunch sounds good, I say, trying to keep my voice nonchalant. It's just lunch, right? Except somewhere deep down, I know that even saying the words is like stepping off a ledge. Every time my phone buzzes, a shiver runs down my spine. It's not a text from my husband, those are boring, it's him. Mark. Innocent little messages about reports or meetings, but every word feels like a secret, a promise. That night I lie in bed, but sleep won't come. The guilt is there, a dull ache, but it's battling with this fever in my blood I can't name. It's ridiculous. I'm not some love-struck teenager. I should be over this infatuation crap. Yet I find myself picturing him again, remembering the way he looked across the table at lunch, the way his fingertips brushed mine. It's just a crush, I whisper to the darkness. It'll pass. But the words sound hollow. The next morning I text first, something stupid, a question about a project I already know the answer to. He responds immediately, and soon we're in this weird flirtatious text banter that is so unlike my usual self. It's thrilling and terrifying all at once. By the end of the day, I'm a wreck. I can't concentrate on anything. My mind is racing. That's when the thought hits me. So simple it's insane. Got a few things to finish up tonight. I type and hit send before I can overthink it. His reply makes my heart pound. Me too, maybe we could work together? That'd be efficient. I manage, my fingers clumsy on the keyboard. It's a stupid excuse. He knows it, I know it. This isn't about work anymore. An hour later, I'm walking back into the office building. The lobby is deserted, the silence heavy. Every step toward his office makes me want to turn and run, yet my feet have a mind of their own. He's waiting, door slightly ajar, that smile on his face. The smile that promises I'm not crazy, not alone in this wanting. The office feels different at night. Sinful somehow. He offers me a drink, which I accept even though my hands are shaking. We talk, but the words don't matter. The space between us crackles with unspoken questions, with unspoken desires. An eternity passes, or maybe just a few minutes. It doesn't matter, because when he steps closer, when his eyes meet mine, there's no stopping it. The kiss is desperate, messy, and everything I thought I didn't want. It's fire, it's destruction, and I can't bring myself to care. The motel room smells of stale air and cheap disinfectant. The sheets are scratchy, the dingy light unforgiving. Lying next to Mark, I feel nothing. Not disgust exactly, but there's no lingering rush of excitement. Just the dull throb of a headache beginning to pound. He tries to pull me closer. Whispers sleepy, half-hearted nothings in my ear. I make excuses, slipping from the bed and into my clothes with stiff robotic movements. Mark looks confused, maybe even hurt. A small voice in my head whispers I should feel sorry, but it's muffled, distant. Gotta get home, I murmur. It's the truth, but only partially. Home to the safe, ordered life I've blown to pieces with my own reckless hands. Every mile driven is torture. Nausea churns in my stomach, making me pull over twice. It's morning when I finally pull into our driveway. The rising sun, a mockery of innocence I lost hours ago. The house feels wrong. Every piece of furniture, every photo of our life together now carries the invisible stains of my betrayal. My husband is making breakfast, humming some stupid upbeat tune. Each cheerful noise grates on my raw nerves. I force a smile, mimicking the wife I used to be. Morning, I manage, my voice barely above a whisper. He turns, a smile softening his face. Hey there, you okay? His concern slams into me. A wave of shame so intense I choke back a sob. Instead, I nod and rush past him, pretending I suddenly remember a forgotten errand. The day becomes a blur. Work is unbearable. Each meaningless task an exercise in self-flagellation. Mark texts, casual, teasing words that now feel laced with danger. I delete them without responding. Yet, as the evening falls, the craving returns. It's like a physical ache, a gnawing void in my chest that only his touch, his forbidden attention, seems to temporarily fill. I hate myself for it, hate how weak I've become. I find a fresh excuse for my husband, something about a project deadline. He frowns slightly, but doesn't argue. The guilt is a heavy stone lodged in my throat, yet my feet propel me out the door anyway. Driven by a sick desperation I don't fully understand. This affair, it isn't a fling anymore, it's a sickness. A poison I'm drinking, drop by agonizing drop. How about a mini break, just us, that cute place up the coast? My husband's looking at me with hopeful eyes, the ones I used to adore. Now they make my skin crawl. I don't know. Panic flutters in my chest. A weekend trapped with him, playing happy couple when I barely recognize myself. It sounds like torture. Come on, it'll be good for us. He presses, oblivious to the internal battle raging behind my forced smile. How can I say no? If I do, he'll get suspicious. Yet the thought of enduring this charade for days on end makes me feel sick with dread. Sure, why not? I agree, hating the forced lightness of my voice. He whoops, clearly taking my words as genuine enthusiasm. The getaway is a disaster. The quaint seaside inn, normally charming, now feels claustrophobic. His attempts at conversation are like nails on a chalkboard. Small talk I can't stomach. We walk on the beach, and every affectionate touch of his hand makes me want to scream. Worst of all, I can't stop thinking about Mark. He hasn't texted in a while, an intentional game on his part. The silence is its own kind of torment. In a moment of desperation, I slip into the bathroom, locking the door behind me. My burner phone is hidden in my makeup bag. He's left 2 messages, urgent, demanding to know where I've been. My heart thuds painfully. He's crossing the line from thrillingly dangerous to scary. Everything okay? My husband's voice on the other side of the door jolts me back to reality. Just freshening up, I chirp, forcing cheerfulness into my voice. I carefully delete Mark's messages, then splash water on my face, trying to look presentable. The rest of the weekend drags on endlessly. I put on a convincing performance, laughing at his jokes, feigning interest in his stories. Inside, I feel like I'm fracturing into a million pieces. Every lie, every forced smile pushes me further from the woman I used to be. I'm a stranger in my own life. The drive home is agonizing. With each mile, I inch closer to the inevitable explosion. Mark will want to see me. I don't know what I'll do, only that this careful balancing act can't last much longer. Something has to break. And the terrifying realization is this: part of me wants it to. You need to choose, me or him. Mark's voice is low, menacing. We're in his apartment. The sleazy motel upgraded to a place that reeks of desperation and stale cologne. I can't just leave him, I protest. Leaving sounds nice in the abstract, a fleeting fantasy. The reality, the mess, the pain, the shattered life, is a nightmare I have no stomach to bring into existence. He sneers. So you like sneaking around, playing me like a fool? No, The words get stuck in my throat. Do I love Mark? Do I even like him? I'm not sure anymore. He's become a problem, not a solution. The old photos are tucked in a box in the attic. I take them out, the image of myself on that day striking me like a blow. Wide smile, eyes full of genuine happiness. I stare at that woman, at myself, and I don't recognize her. How did I get from there to here? You okay? My husband's touch on my shoulder makes me flinch. I shove the photos back in the box, guilt and shame twisting in my gut. Just tired, I mumble, avoiding his eyes. He seems to hesitate, then says gently, Maybe let's do takeout tonight. No cooking, no fuss. His kindness is like a knife in my heart. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve any of this. Mark's texts grow more frantic, then threatening. He swings between desperate pleas and furious rants. I can imagine him pacing his apartment, the manic energy radiating through the phone screen. The excitement is long gone, replaced by a suffocating fear. This man knows my secret. One night he calls instead of texting. His voice is slurred, thick with something that sounds like rage, barely contained. You think you can toy with me? Don't forget, I know where you live. I know everything. The call ends abruptly, leaving me trembling. The carefully constructed wall around my lies is crumbling. The affair isn't a thrill, it's a bomb, and the fuse is burning dangerously short. Sleep has become a stranger. Each night stretches into an eternity filled with twisted replays of Mark's threats, my husband's unsuspecting touch, and the terrifying realization that I have become a prisoner in my own life. Mornings offer no relief. Moving through my days feels like walking underwater. Each breath is labored. The once familiar comfort of my routine now feels like a mockery. My husband sees it, of course he does. You're so stressed, he frets, placing a cup of coffee beside me, his eyes full of worry. His words are meant to soothe, yet they pierce my already shredded nerves. I'm fine, I snap back, immediately regretting it. He retreats, confused and hurt. I watch him go, the weight of guilt another anchor dragging me down. An envelope arrives at work. No return address, just my name in a scrawled handwriting I immediately recognize. I rip it open, heart pounding. Inside, a single Polaroid, me getting into Mark's car. The implication is clear. He's not just threatening me, he's playing a game, one where I'm always a step behind. Panic floods me. My colleagues go from faceless drones to potential spies. Did someone see me get into his car that night? Their casual smiles feel predatory, whispers carrying hidden accusations. Is it my imagination, or did that intern stare a bit too long? The note is just the beginning. He finds other ways to taunt me. A text filled with vague yet menacing references to my work routine. An email with an image of my neighborhood, no words, just the sickening sense of being watched. Confessing seems like the only way out. But the thought of shattering my husband's world, destroying everything we built, it's a fate worse than this living nightmare, the shame, the loss. I can't do it to him. I can't do it to myself. Yet I know doing nothing isn't an option either. Mark is a ticking time bomb about to destroy the life I fought desperately to keep intact. My mind goes to dark places, thoughts I never imagined I'd entertain. Could I make it look like an accident? Could I disappear, leave this mess behind? The line between victim and villain blurs, twisting me into someone I no longer recognize. I am not innocent. I brought this chaos upon myself. Soon! The single word burns on my phone screen, a death sentence in its brevity. He's not playing anymore. This is it, the final act before he tears my secrets out into the open for everyone to see. Something shifts inside me. The fear curdles into something sharper, a jagged shard of desperation. Confronting him isn't merely an option, it's the only path left. Maybe I can reason with him, bribe him, threaten him back. I cling to the faintest hope that there's still a sliver of sanity behind that rage-filled facade. I text back, feigning calm. Where, when? His reply comes minutes later, the abandoned warehouse by the docks, midnight. It sounds like a scene fit for a bad crime drama, and a bitter laugh bubbles up in my throat. My life has become a twisted cliché. The hours crawl by, each ticking second echoing in my skull. My mind races, plans jumbled and useless. Should I tell the police? No, they'll want answers I can't give. Tell my husband? The shame of it would crush him. I'm trapped, and the walls are crushing inwards. The warehouse is dark and desolate, reeking of damp and something foul. He's waiting, a silhouette against the broken windows. His voice, raspy and low, cuts through the silence. Brought the cash? His demand is so ludicrous, so far beyond what I can possibly offer, that hysterical laughter nearly bubbles up. All this time, I thought I could control the situation, that I was somehow still balancing the impossible. Now, the truth hits me like a physical blow. He never cared about the money. This is about power, about the sick pleasure of destroying me. I don't have that kind of... My voice trails off, useless. He steps closer, and in the dim light, I see his eyes glitter with madness. Shame. Thought we had a deal. Guess I'll have to find another way to get paid. The threat hangs in the air, an unspoken promise of exposure and ruin. Something snaps inside of me. I'm not the same meek woman who stumbled into this mess. Fury floods me, a raw, primal force. He lunges for me, and I react on instinct, years of repressed frustration fueling the blow. My fist connects with his jaw, a sickening crack echoing in the silence. He stumbles, shock overriding the rage in his eyes. We grapple then, a desperate, dirty brawl, more animal than human. I scratch and kick, fueled by adrenaline and the terror of the cornered. He's bigger, but rage makes me sloppy, unpredictable. We crash into a pile of rusted machinery. A sharp pain explodes in my side, but I barely register it. I grab a broken pipe, its jagged edge glinting in the dimness. He's scrambling to his feet, a snarl twisting his face. And that's when I see it. The flicker of fear in his eyes. The hunter has become the hunted. My hands are shaking, there's blood on them. His blood may be mine too, I'm not sure. The pipe lies discarded, a silent accusation in the dust. The warehouse feels even more cavernous now. The silence amplified by the frantic pounding of my heart. He's not moving. A chilling certainty settles over me. I killed him. It feels impossible, unreal, yet the impossible is my new reality. Panic propels me, a wild animal desperate for escape. I run, not bothering to look back, the night swallowing me whole. Every shadow is a threat, every distant siren heralds doom. Instinct, not reason, guides me through twisting streets. My mind a jumbled mess of guilt, terror, and a sliver of perverse relief. Home should be a refuge, but the familiar rooms feel alien. Each creak of the floorboard sounds like an accusation. His toothbrush is still on the bathroom counter. A mundane object, now a symbol of everything I've shattered. I collapse on the bed, sobs racking my body. Sleep is a luxury I no longer deserve. I don't know how long I lie there, drowning in guilt and terror. Then a sound pierces the silence. A knock at the door. My blood runs cold. They found me already. It's over. "Ma'am, are you all right?" The voice on the other side of the door is a police officer's. The tone polite, yet laced with concern. I force myself up, each step leaden. There's no escape, only the sick certainty that this is just the beginning. My husband's smiling photo on the side table mocks me. 1,000 apologies swirl unspoken in my head. Apologies I'll never have the chance to offer. The consequences of my actions have begun to unfurl, a tangled web I can never escape. Opening the door feels like stepping into an abyss. My carefully constructed world has shattered, and as the light of the hallway falls upon my face, I know with chilling certainty things will never be the same again. The interrogation room is a blur of harsh lights and 2 bright uniforms. My voice sounds foreign in my ears, a robotic recitation of a half-truth I've barely had time to concoct. Self-defense, he attacked me. I panicked. The words feel flimsy, weightless in the face of their grim stares. They ask questions, sharp and probing, yet I barely register them. It takes every ounce of focus to keep the shaking at bay, to maintain the facade of a terrified victim, not a killer. They have evidence, my phone records, the photos he sent, his history of unstable behavior. These scraps support my story, yet also threaten to expose the uglier truths. I hold my breath, waiting for the inevitable. We don't buy it. A phone call is allowed, just one. My hands tremble as I dial the number etched in my soul. His voice, warm and familiar, sends a fresh wave of agony through me. "Hey, everything okay? You sound weird," he asks, worry creasing his tone. I manage a strangled, "There's been an accident." My voice breaks then, and the sobs I've been fighting explode into the sterile room. His confusion turns to terror as I choke out the barest outlines. Mark, a fight, the police. When I hang up, there's silence. His devastation echoes on the line, a pain that cuts far deeper than any jail sentence. I've destroyed him, perhaps more surely than if I'd pulled a trigger. The news spreads like wildfire, my name, my face splashed across cheap tabloids alongside grisly crime scene photos. Cheating wife kills lover. The words scream from the page, branding me. He's reduced to a lurid detail while I am both victim and villain, forever bound to this horrific narrative. My parents arrive, their faces etched with shock and shame. My mother weeps, her cries filling the cramped room. My father stares at me with such revulsion the sight burns me worse than a judge's gavel. They post bail, the money a meaningless gesture. I'm released into their custody, a caged bird with clipped wings. The drive home is a